riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am your host, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Tim Richardson. Tim, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Why don't you tell the folks at home the album we're talking about this week?
This week, we are talking about Eminem's 2017 masterpiece, Revival. And this thing, Jesus Christ, Garrett. Jesus Christ.
That's right. Ninth studio album by Slim Shady himself, Revival. Tim, let's get it out of the way. Do you hate this album?
Kind of a mixed thing here. I don't hate this exactly. However...
Wow.
So I hate a majority of what's on this record.
Okay.
It's not a very good album. In fact, it's a very bad album. But it seems like the part in like a boxing biopic where it's like the third act, right? Can't see straight, brain is ravaged by CTE, well past his prime, you're still insisting on taking fights that you're gonna lose, and it's the most interesting part of a movie. It's sad, but I can't hate it because despite being like really bad, it's sort of an interesting document of a guy well past his prime and just insisting that he's not only as good as he ever was, that he's better than he ever was, and I'm pretty sure he's just about to get knocked out in the first round. None of the music on this is good. I should say that up front.
Let me make sure I understand this analogy. You like it because it's a train wreck.
No, I like it because it's an interesting snapshot of where this guy is right now.
It could not be a better way to understand what he has gone through emotionally up to this point.
I'm assuming you hate this. You've got to hate this.
Well, you know, Tim, it's interesting.
God damn it.
I'm all over the map here. Let me ask you this before I answer that question. Do you think you have room in your heart to hate it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I am on the cusp. However, I gave it one last listen this morning, and I've started to find some things I didn't hate. Like I said, I'm on the precipice, though. I can see into the chasm of hate, and I want to dive face first.
Right.
Is this your first Eminem album? Are you familiar with his body of work?
I'm fairly familiar with his work, actually. I don't think I ever owned any of his CDs, but I have fairly fond memories of listening to one of my friends, Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers LPs.
Okay.
I'm a casual listener, I guess you could say.
Okay. I definitely owned Slim Shady LP, definitely owned Marshall Mathers LP, may have owned the Eminem show. That's debatable. I loved him. I was a little ashamed that I loved him. I'm very ashamed now that I loved him, but I loved him. I played them privately, publicly, loudly, in my moments of pain and sorrow, which of high school there were many.
We know. Good God, we know.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly was super into this for about 2 years.
We should also say we did randomly see him at ACL a couple of years ago. It wasn't great.
It wasn't really a performance. There seemed to be a long intro video.
Yeah.
And then it was followed by several hype men,
yeah.
I believe, getting us super excited that M was going to begin rapping. But I do not recall any specific raps, even after the first 10 to 12 minutes. Oof, yeah, okay. We at least knew of him. I loved him at one point.
What I heard at the time, I think that I liked.
I thought that I kind of rode the Eminem train way later into his career. Nah, not really.
Yeah, there's like 4 albums I've never heard of. Like, never heard the names of.
I'm in the same boat with you. Did you take any time to listen to anything from those 4 albums?
I did, but not too deep.
Okay, so I listened to a smattering, and I have to say, as somebody who kind of just forgot about Eminem and walked away, what happened with this album makes a lot of sense. This album should be called Eminem: Middle Age. This is a man reflecting on the choices that he's made in life. It's an album of regret, sadness, and somebody that's been going to therapy and really doing the work.
Yeah, he has put his time in. This album also made me realize that I do not understand the use or purpose of sampling in most music. This is the most...
This is way beyond the pale.
Right. Why the fuck did I listen to 80% of the song Zombie by the Cranberries on this fucking album? Why was that on here?
I don't know where to place the blame because, and I hate to do this because I think he's very talented. I might have to blame Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I've got some bones to pick with Rick Rubin on this, too.
Producer extraordinaire.
Yeah, he's
Rubin.
done great things.
But
it just seems like a mistake to put guitars in this guy's music.
there's no way that other hip-hop albums of the modern era sample like this. And sampling can be done in a way that maybe it's used for a hook or a beat, whereas this, in this album, the sampling is the backbone.
Yeah,
without it, you don't have a song.
Right, he's put on a song in the background, and he's just sort of talking over it.
Yes.
So also, I think this is the longest album we've ever talked about on here.
It sure is.
77 minutes, 39 seconds. I got really tired of his Trump obsession, especially because it wasn't in any way insightful.
It's clumsy.
Yeah, it's not very good. On a positive note, he's still clearly good at the physical act of rapping.
Yeah,
like
he's talented at rapping.
Yeah, but it just doesn't seem to be anything behind it anymore.
I will say there are even glimpses of great writing. Glimpses.
I read an article that I thought was kind of clever that compared him to like the Joe Satriani, people that are technical experts of their craft. They can hit the notes, but they probably shouldn't be the creative or artistic forces behind anything.
Right. Otherwise you end up with widespread panic.
Stay tuned.
Let me talk a little bit about the man himself. As you might have guessed, Eminem did not grow up in the best of situations. Dad left him as a young man. He grew up with his seemingly pretty terrible mother in Detroit in predominantly black neighborhoods where he was routinely beaten up, as you probably could have guessed. He released his first album in 1996. It was a huge flop and nobody liked it. And then by 1999, he's created the Slim Shady persona. And as everyone knows, that's kind of when shit hit the fan and he became a superstar. His life growing up was just kind of middling. It grew up in a shitty neighborhood, had a mom who seems kind of terrible, kind of a nerd, liked to write in his notebook, and didn't have a whole lot of friends. I can't even count how many times that's equaled a Clorox bleached-headed child who raps and nobody wants to hear it. Somehow this guy squeaked through, though.
Yeah.
Good job, Marshall. Did you know his middle name's Bruce?
No. Let's call him
more
Bruce.
into-
Can we call him Bruce?
No. Okay. I think that's way too confusing. I'll give you how we got to Revival in 200 words or less if I can. As I mentioned, first album in 1996. By 1999, he's calling himself Slim Shady, and that's when the Slim Shady LP comes out. He then has Marshall Mathers in 2000, Eminem Show 2002. That's kind of where I check out. He releases several more albums starting in, I think, 2007 maybe earlier than that. He becomes pretty addicted to drugs. I read a couple of conflicting accounts, but from what I can tell, it actually started with Ambien. He was sober and couldn't sleep. He was working way too many hours on 8 Mile. And so he started taking Ambien and was like, oh, this shit fucking works. So then he started taking a lot of Ambien, but as I understand it, that's sort of an on-off switch. You can't really still work and be on a bunch of Ambien. So then it's moved to Vicodin. And
yeah,
then,
let's be clear. We are sponsored by Ambien today, so
not making enough meals in your sleep? Try Ambien. Gets hooked on drugs, gets off of drugs by, well, let's call it 2015, 2016. Starts working on his weight because he became a big fat fatty. So that brings us to today. 2017, out comes Revival. You want to talk about what's on this album?
I'd love to, yeah.
Track number 1, Walk on Water, featuring Miss Beyonce herself. Oof. What a tough way to open an album, huh?
Yeah, I want to say, like, Beyonce's not doing anything wrong.
No, not at all.
She's kind of Super Bowl national antheming it at parts.
There's a lot of melisma.
But, again, this is just poorly matched to the rest of...
Hey, I want to be real clear, because someday we may do Beyonce, and by May, I mean, of course, we're going to do a Beyonce album. I got no problem with her here.
Right, she can do no wrong.
She's singing her fucking... Well, oh, wait, what? You know what? Let's move on. That's not the point. She just doesn't belong here.
Right. And what she's actually singing, so this is a reworking of a 1997 song called Immutable Beauty that has the lines, I walk on water when it freezes, that don't make me Jesus.
I initially wondered, did he write that? Did he have to bring her into the studio and sort of sing that to her? Like, sort of like that.
That would be great. I really hope that's the case.
I don't think so.
Right. If that was the case, I have to assume he would just be sort of blushing and just, this is what I got.
That would be amazing.
I'll Beyonce that up. Please stop saying it.
If that were the case, though, I would listen to an album entirely of him doing that. You want vulnerability, Shady.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, I don't know why I would bring this up, but you haven't given him any stupid nickname this week.
Bruce? Can we call him Bruce?
Yeah, you can call him Bruce.
All right. Yeah, so, okay. Bruce sounds weird. Excuse me. Bruce sounds weirdly out of breath in this song.
He's breathless.
Yeah. In the background, he's tearing up lyric sheets, and you can hear him writing. I guess that's.
I think I can explain both of these.
Well, because it's featured on a different one of his songs.
Okay, well, there is that as well. But I think I have a good explanation for the breathiness. First of all, as I mentioned, he did become horribly addicted to drugs and gained a ton of weight. In fact, he became addicted to fast food. He used to just sit at Denny's alone, where he once heard a couple debating whether or not that was Slim Shady having a Moon's Over My Hammy.
Weirdly, I've actually been in that exact situation where
you were
someone
often mistaken for Marshall Mathers.
Right, but a fat
Marshall
version,
Mathers.
yeah.
Well, you do love Moon's Over My Hammy.
It's delicious. Yeah, okay,
Sorry,
so he's a
I'm
big
off topic.
fat guy who's
So part
face
of
with
his
Denny's.
recovery was to begin a rigorous running program. So there's a good chance he'd finished up a quick jog and then had to lay down some sweet rhymes. Now, as for the paper tearing and the scribbling, obviously he has used this previously on that other song.
Stan.
It was Stan.
Yeah.
Okay. I think what really happened is that they listened back to it and they're like, all right, let's see how it all kind of fits together. Oh my God, she's so talented. Can I write over her parts and then I'll just rip some pieces of paper next to the microphone? This is not the juxtaposition I had in mind.
Yeah, that's fair.
I took a listen where I just paid attention to the music, and on this song in particular, if you just listen to the strings and piano, it sounds so much like, remember the Jason Segel movie?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
His job is to write dramatic music for a television show.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
If you listen to strings and piano on this track, it is like dramatic music in a Dawson's Creek scene. I just kept waiting for the beak to just stare out at a body of water, and it would have fit perfectly. Instead, this is a rap song.
Yeah, and the whole song, his parts of it anyway, are just about how he thinks expectations for the latter part of his career, they're just too high, but then he's just as good as he ever was, if not better. He's got a line here. But when I do fall from those heights, though, I'll be fine. I won't pout or cry or spiral down or whine.
Yeah, you're kind of doing that, right?
Yeah.
You know what?
Yep.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I love Bruce. This does have maybe my favorite line on any album we've done, which is the last line of this song.
It is a great line. It's my favorite line of the album.
In fact,
sure.
can we pause here real quick and actually just play those lines? Is that a thing we can do?
Says the guy who doesn't put in the music.
Yeah, it's the only time I'll ever do this.
Cause I'm just a man, but as long as I got a mic, I'm godlike. So me and you are not alike. Bitch, I wrote Stan.
Wasn't that hilarious?
Bitch, I wrote Stan. Kind of
Yeah.
a thesis statement for this whole album. I used to be
Nope,
pretty
it
good.
really isn't, though. Unless his thesis statement is, I wrote Stan, so you have to like this other stuff, even though we all know it's not very good.
Yeah.
Oh, then yes. Then yes. Okay, track 2, Believe.
When you struggle with despair, that double-fisted bare knuckles coupled with
The opening lines here rhyme with the closing lines of the last song.
I started to think it was a concept album.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it makes sense for this to be a concept album because this song has the exact same theme as the last song.
There's definitely an overarching theme of middle-aged regret, and it becomes more obvious later, but I have to get something off my chest here, Tim. I'm worried about Shady. I think Bruce might have low T. He seems very emotional, very empathetic, and I get it. He's grown personally, and that's great. I'm proud of you, Bruce. But I'm worried about him. He's lost his edge.
He has, yeah.
I wonder if he's drinking a lot of almond milk. But I think he has low T. Let's get Shady's T up.
Yeah, or at least check it. We should...
Hashtag raise Shady's tea.
I do like the overall sound of the chorus. It has this sort of orchestral kind of epic quality that you sometimes get with like heavy metal. But the lyrics, it goes, do you still believe? And then it's brought down by this kind of whiny, in me?
Did you find the way he says believe curious in any way? I had mentioned to you that there's Yoda singing on this album. I was referencing this believe because he sort of shouts and there may be some effects on his voice.
Definitely.
Believe. But it's very, very close to at least if not a Yoda, a Kermit the Frog. Believe in me. It's very close to that. And once I heard that, I really couldn't hear much else. Aside from when I went back and I listened to it on the 4th, 5th, and 7th time, it really is about making the most out of what you got.
Yeah, but again, what he's got is a lot
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, millions of dollars and...
Low T.
This also, just as a small side note, contains the first of 2 Saddam Hussein shout-outs on this album.
Again, I will shout-out's probably the wrong word.
Well,
I want to say, at the start of this song, before the first believe, I liked kind of what was happening. He was not saying anything worth a shit, but I don't really care.
It sounded more like classic Eminem. It's kind of
or at least
a boring version of that, but yeah.
But when the Yoda singing started... And he gets into the, like, you know, you gotta make every day count and don't let other people define you. I was just like, oh, good God.
Yeah, it's Bieber-y.
I can see him in the lobby of his therapist reading the covers of pamphlets, just like, it's always darkest before the dawn. Are you ready for a new tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna write a rap about that. What else you got for Believe?
Nothing.
Well, that brings me to track 3, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about it. Track 3. Chloraseptic.
I met your neck like pest dispense. Go ahead, spit your flow, bitch. I met your throat like Chloraseptic.
Tim, this has to be your favorite song, right?
It's not.
That shocks me because you are a huge proponent of throat spray.
I don't
lozenges
think.
in general,
I don't think
right?
you're thinking of me. I do like rap songs about streptococcus. I don't care for mispronouncing larynx so that it rhymes with lyrics.
Oh, yeah, you are a stickler for pronunciation.
This song is a critique, according to the internet, of mumble rappers, but that just left me with a series of references that I didn't understand. There's a lot of lyrics here that are references to rapists in music videos that I have never seen and will never see.
You haven't seen and will soon see.
And that's probably true. But yeah, I didn't get, I guess, the full genius that is Chloraseptic featuring Fresher.
I'm embarrassed for him. I get it. Okay, let me start off by saying, I get it. I see what he's doing. It is supposed to be mocking these rapists that mumble. Obviously, Chloraseptic is something that you give people when they have a sore throat. It's also the worst. Have you ever had it?
No.
It's ridiculous. The idea that you're going to repeat Chloraseptic 68 times in a song.
He also says, give me brain on this instead of give me head. Have you heard that euphemism? Because he uses it twice on this album.
I hadn't, and it caught my ear as well. It made me feel old. Is this what the kids are saying?
I don't know. I mean, we should start saying it.
I don't think we probably talk about fellatio as much as you think.
We don't, but when we do. Or we could start.
We'll use brain.
Yeah.
Oh, this can be a nice entree into the fellatio segment of our friendship?
Yeah, well, not...
No, you know what?
At least
let me just shut it down right
about...
here. I don't want to do this. Oh. But yeah, we can call it that.
Number 4, Untouchable.
No one's ever indicted you. Why? 'Cause you're a white.
Oh boy, Tim.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, God
This
damn it.
fucking song haunts us.
Yeah.
Tell the folks at home, what song is this?
This is Earache My Eye, the Cheech and Chong song that is, I guess it's the hidden song on the Korn album.
Yes.
I was so enraged whenever I heard that. How is this the second album we've discussed on this podcast? This is what? Within a dozen episodes, in 19 years apart. I don't understand why we're still on this song.
I don't either. In the pantheon of music we could have chosen, somehow we get 2 songs that, I use the word sample loosely here, feature heavy Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? I mean, you know what? That just tells me we're doing something right, Tim.
Yeah.
We are doing the Lord's work. We are going to hit every Cheech Marin album out there, except for, of course, the original Cheech and Chong album.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I guess it's a Cops theme parody song mixed with Cheech and Chong. And I agree with the overall sentiment. It seems to be that it's sort of embarrassing that we're still at this place in regards to like race relations in 2017.
Sure, the overarching message is not off point. Well, this is also the first appearance of guitars on the album.
It is, yeah. Not his
Not
friend.
a welcomed addition.
Yeah. And
No, did you say not his friend?
that's right. Guitars
they're
on
not
the
his
whole
friend.
are not his
Guitars are
friend.
not your friend.
We learned that with
Kid Rock?
Kid Rock.
It's all connected, Tim.
Yeah.
Everything is numbers.
Yeah, there's 3 main verses. The first 2 are about race relations from a white guy's perspective, and then the last is from a black guy's perspective, right?
Right, but sung by a white guy.
Right, yes. Several songs on here feature black vocalists. If anywhere it makes sense to feature a black vocalist, it's the 3rd verse of this fucking song.
Yeah, it's not as though he's opposed to having guest singers or rapists on his album. I didn't do the math, Tim, but there's a good chance that he spends less time singing on his album than the other people on his album do spend singing on his album.
That's a complicated sentence, but I agree.
Let me rephrase. He sings less than everyone else combined on his own album.
Right.
This is like an Interscope showcase album featuring Eminem.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Kanye. He's curating a bunch of songs here.
At least Kanye, I believe wholeheartedly the entire time, Kanye then said, and then it would be dope if we did this. This, though, I feel like there were a bunch of dudes in suits with slick back hair going, we've got a really great artist for you, Slim. It'd be really nice. Remember that Enya song? Everybody really enjoyed that juxtaposition. Maybe we could do that again. Put some parts where we can hear that pencil working. Easy, Gary.
Yeah.
Easy.
Always mentioning that pencil thing. That guy just loves Stan. And again, with this theme of race relations, there's just not a lot of nuance to it either.
He mentions only sending black cops into black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Or not sending white cops that haven't been properly acclimated. And let me ask you something, Tim. Do you need to be acclimated to black people?
I think so, yes.
Wait, you know what? I'm not going to edit it out, but let's just take that again. Hey, Tim, do you think that you need to be acclimated to be around black people?
Of course not. Jesus.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
What kind of, yeah, it's insane. The very idea is insulting.
Yeah, it seems super racist. And I don't think Eminem is racist. I want to be clear. I think he's just bad at writing.
Yeah, it's just poorly written lyrics.
Any other good lyrics?
Why is it they treat us like dryer lint? Which then has the genius annotation explaining what lint is.
But let's remind everybody, in case you've never visited Genius Lyrics, this is where anybody a la Wikipedia, but seemingly exclusively dedicated to idiots, can put what they believe the lyrics to a song are about, and make clarifying statements about specific words or phrases that you may not be aware of. In this instance, Tim's found an idiot that thinks nobody knows what lint is. Go ahead, Tim.
Lint is the name for visible textile fibers and other materials usually found on clothing after wear and tear.
You know, I made fun of this fella.
Yeah, he seems to have a pretty good handle on what lint is.
This guy's business is lint. GeniusLyrics.com, we love you. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Track number 5, River.
Inexplicably featuring Ed Sheeran.
Tim, this is the first one I viscerally wanted to vomit when I heard.
Yeah, I can't imagine a worse pairing, I should say, than these two people. Mid-90s Eminem, mid-90s Bruce, would have written songs, instead of featuring Ed Sheeran, the songs would have been written about how he wants to murder or rape and then murder, or murder and then rape Ed Sheeran, instead of having him guest on his album, right?
I don't know where to start. I'm shaking. I'm so mad.
You're right to be. It's surreal. It makes no sense. It's insulting, but I don't understand why.
Let me begin by saying, I don't personally listen to Ed Sheeran. If I have heard Ed Sheeran before, I was unaware that I was listening to him. This is my first exposure to Ed Sheeran. I do not care for Ed Sheeran. If this is an accurate depiction of his abilities, he's clearly a talented musician whom I loathe, and I believe as an artist is garbage. To have him open and then sing the chorus of this pile of nonsense. This is another song where I really want to know, did Eminem write the chorus?
I don't believe so. This has to be Ed Sheeran had a song.
Had to be. But imagine, can you imagine if he had to sing it to him?
Yeah.
This song to me, maybe this won't make any sense. This song to me sounded like country music, trying to sound like rap music, trying to sound like country music. My point, I swear to God, Toby Keith is somewhere right now furious his manager did not buy these lyrics. Or some other pop country, boy, and we'll get there. Stay tuned for that. We have a whole bunch of country coming down the pipe, and none of it, by my estimate, is country music. But this is certainly not rap music.
No. There's also this weird... Did you notice the Spider-Man references in this?
No.
He says...
No.
So she's been on my web lately. Says maybe she'll be my Gwen Stacy. This is where I break with your Toby Keith analogy. I can't really see Toby Keith.
Oh, I'm talking about the chorus.
No, I know.
Strictly.
I know.
No. Although I would like to see Toby Keith rap. I don't think it would be any different than this album.
Specifically about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man raps.
Okay. All right. Easy.
I have written a small musical.
Oh, no.
It's about Spider-Man.
I have
and it is
bad and worse news, and maybe even worse news for you. Don't do that.
The only other thing I have for this, and I won't read them, but there's genius annotations to explain what a soapbox is, what a sermon is, and explaining the full rules of chess.
Wait, do you mean the full rules?
Like it
How
explains
each piece moves?
It explains what chess is, and then it goes through how you would play with helpful links
on the
lyrics, genius annotations. Yes.
All right, well, check it out if you're interested in learning how to play chess. That was probably the intent of this song. No, this is just sloppy Toby Keith seconds. Sloppy Toby seconds.
Ugh, the worst kind of seconds.
Yeah, I can't respect anyone named Toby.
No, he's no Bruce.
All right, that takes us into the next track. Number 6, Remind Me intro. This does not deserve a whole lot of time.
Next, can we...
All I can say is this got me super excited to stomp the yard. Every time I was ready to bring it on, stomp the yard, and potentially serve someone. In the event that it does, in fact, become on.
It will at some point, but for
now... And
it
does, Tim, and I'll tell you when it does. It officially becomes on in track 7, Remind Me.
Get on the horn, my saxophone, grab hold of my instrument, get a grasp and blow. You just laugh and go.
This is our second song with quote-unquote sampling that is just a rock song, and it's
ruined.
It's the basis. Like this is all based around Joan Jett's "I Love Rock and Roll" for a reason that basically he has no friends, at least no good friends who are willing to be honest with him, because this is a terrible idea.
Top to bottom, this is a mistake.
Yes,
he can't possibly think this sounded good.
No.
I will say this. I'm going to give him a compliment here. Strip away the fact that it's I Love Rock and Roll. If you pay attention strictly to the raps, just the lyrics, it's fine. It would have been fine. It would have been among the best songs on the album, if only because it wasn't overly whiny and at least was a song.
Right. It's more of old Eminem.
Exactly.
But
it would be a middling Eminem song that you'd skip past.
Yeah, that happens to also be playing while a separate stereo is playing Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll.
A modified version, of course. Or, excuse me, remixed and sampled.
Right. And I love you because you reminds me of me. I feel the exact opposite, generally.
I assume, again, this has to fall at the feet of Rick Rubin.
Yeah, I can't imagine Eminem thinking of this.
Unless he wrote this song while listening to Joan Jett, which is another very bizarre scene I would love to have stumbled upon.
There's also a pool game happening in the background, apparently.
I didn't pick up on the pool game.
I don't know why.
You sure it's not snooker?
It could be snooker. It's some sort of billiard game. Then I have I have actually 2 genius annotations. One is a rebuttal. The line is, your booty is heavy duty, like diarrhea.
Yep.
Heavy duty describes objects which are designed to withstand copious use without breaking. It is usually used to refer to furniture, mechanical objects, and the like. In this context, heavy duty is used to imply that her bottom is capable of withstanding a lot of use. To add on to this, duty, in U.S. pronunciation, is a homophone for duty, in parentheses here, a slang word for feces. The play on words is that diarrhea is heavy duty. It is literally heavy shit. So then there's a rebuttal by somebody who's named himself Meat Hammer 330.
Yes! I'm already on his side.
Yeah, no, you should be. I don't care how legendary Eminem is. It doesn't help the fact that this is garbage.
Meat Hammer 330, you're welcome on the show anytime. Reach out. So I want to point something out with this. This is a bone I have to pick. Not only is this I Love Rock and Roll, do you know what other song this is, though they won't admit it?
I do not.
Weezer, Beverly Hills.
It is Beverly Hills.
Yeah, fuck them. That song, I got a real bone to pick with you, Weezer, and it has something to do with the latter half of your career. Another interlude, track 8, Revival Interlude. Or as I call it, the Hillary Duff Interlude.
Yeah, so this is interesting because it's the title track, and it's the only one to feature no vocals by Eminem, which is confusing. But
I would say that it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's all the better for his absence. It's 51 seconds. I think it's my favorite.
No, this can't be your favorite.
It's my favorite because it's 51 seconds and doesn't feature Eminem.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's move on then. Track 9, Like Home, featuring Alicia Keys.
This is the requisite anti-Trump song that I assume we're going to be hearing from every artist a lot in the coming year. And
yeah, this one is pretty heavy-handed. It is the anti-Clown Baby song.
First of all, again, I don't need this from my M&Ms. The bridge and chorus of this has this... It's basically that I'd gladly stand up next to you patriotic nonsense.
Yes, the soaring music and the lyrics, nothing about it doesn't feel completely manufactured. I would have just opened this whole song with, and now a very special message from Slim Shady.
Yeah.
So bad. All right, you ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, track 10, Bad Husband, featuring Ex-Ambassadors.
Words that we said that we didn't mean, the ones that we meant that we didn't say, the ones that we thought that we should have said, letters written that we could have
This song alone is enough evidence. If you had only told me that this was on the album, I could have told you this is not a good album.
Yeah.
Adding Ex-Ambassadors to anything is a downgrade.
There were a lot of comments on the internet about how deep this song is, and
What?
many, many people cried as a result of listening to this song.
Huh?
I don't know what that means.
This is a song he should have made and given directly to his ex-wife and never ever let anyone else hear it.
Right, yeah, this is the shitty poem you write, and that single person is embarrassed for you and deletes the email.
Have you not been reading my poems?
I have. I'm embarrassed for you, and I've deleted those emails.
Don't worry, I keep handwritten copies.
I know you do. Yeah, it's this sort of Bieber-y, like, half apology to his ex-wife.
Well, this is more of the therapy talk coming through. He's owning his side of the street, Tim.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Eminem of 1999 would beat the shit out of Eminem of 2018, but not before 2018 Eminem gave him a stern lecture.
Yeah, Genius Lyrics has commentary on that as well. They said, "It's great to see Eminem come from, now shut the fuck up and get what's coming to you. You are supposed to love me. Now bleed, bitch. Bleed, bleed, bitch. Bleed, bleed, bleed." 2, "But I'm sorry, Kim, more than you could ever comprehend. Leaving you was fucking harder than sawing off a fucking body limb." And I'll admit, he does seem to have mellowed out quite a bit.
It's that low T.
Yeah, it is that low T.
God, I'm worried he suffers from BPH or a large prostate.
We should really get in there and find out about that prostate and that testosterone.
I'm not a medical professional per se.
Neither am I.
But if you're listening, Eminem, Bruce, take your health seriously. And for God's sakes, folks, get your colon checked after 50.
I'm going to get a little bit of his blood and test it myself. I don't believe he's going to follow your advice.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to get some of that
This isn't going to end great.
I don't think
classic
so.
Tim, I'm going to get your blood and run some tests. I'm going to tell you, this is going to end the exact same way it did with Barbra Streisand.
I'm going to get that blood. That's how that ended. Number 11.
Yeah, moving on.
Number 11, Tragic Endings, featuring Skylar Grey.
Let me start by saying, beginning your song, your poem, your comedy bit, or even your book with All My Life is hands down the laziest writing on the planet. It doesn't matter what comes next. All my life, I secretly was a troll monster. Still don't care. Your writing is bad.
This seems like a real retread of the last song as well.
If you told me this was a Hillary Duff song, I'd have been like, yeah, all right. Also, good to hear Hillary Duff's not dead, I guess.
Her and Moby. Moby still has not reached out to us.
We don't know where Moby is. Listeners, find Moby. This song reminded me of a Natalie Imbruglia song. I don't know if you know who that is.
Who that is, no.
She sang that song, I'm Torn. Nothing's fine, I'm torn.
Go on.
A lot of things. Nothing?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe another couple of verses. And
Maybe if I sang the whole song.
Yes.
I thought I saw a man.
Okay, for the love of God.
You asked for it. It reminded me of that. I felt like this might be what Evanescence would sound like if you took away the new metal of it all.
I think that's a fairly good comparison.
Honestly, this song, it's a shame. I think they stopped making those Underworld movies. Remember? It seemed like one of those fucking things came out every other day. Want to move it along?
Sure.
That brings us to track 12. One of the most confusing ones on the album. Framed. The first spooky rap I've ever heard.
Yeah, so I was going to say, this is yet another new genre we're adding to this show. I guess it's really a subgenre. Horrorcore, I believe, is what it's called. So
I
that's
think
good.
it's called spooky rap.
Either way, they're both good.
Haunted raps. Ghost raps. Ghost raps!
Graps.
Anyway, so this song features excessive elongated yelling.
Yeah, it's framed,
explained,
explained, entertained, and then me.
Oh, yeah, don't forget me.
That was the confusing
but luckily,
one.
to help make it rhyme, he just says, May!
Yeah, this
Whoa.
reminded me of one of his other songs. I thought it was going to be insane, but that wasn't it.
I can't help you.
Fun side note, whenever I YouTubed the song Insane, it made me watch a 45-second commercial for Mormon.org. I don't know who paired those two up, but
I assume it's based on the things you've been researching.
Could be.
You may or may not be a closet Mormon.
I am not. But all right.
It's exactly what a closeted Mormon would say.
That's true.
Do you now, or have you ever believed in the writings of Joseph Smith?
Yes. Anyway, so this is this is a song about being arrested for murder because the details of a crime match lyrics for a previous song that he wrote. Does that seem like I got that?
Right, but I didn't get the impression that any of it was based on reality.
No, I don't think so. But I'm pretty sure that he stole that plot from really the only movie from 1992 that anyone ever needs to watch, the classic Basic Instinct. Isn't that what that movie's about?
I don't remember. I thought it was about a woman's vagina.
It did heavily feature a woman's vagina. Fun side note, Basic Instinct was the first nudity I ever saw on screen, so that probably inflicted some sort of psychological damage that I am not willing to address just yet. Some genius annotations. The lines are, but when murdering females, better pay attention to these details or you could be derailed. Better wear at least 3 layers of clothing or be in jail if you get scratched because your DNA will be all up under her fingernails. The genius annotation for this, in an attempt to escape you, the victim will try and claw her way out while you handle her. Just a creepy way of saying that. If you do not cover up your skin with at least 3 layers of clothing, according to M, then the sheer force of her nails can dig into your skin and scrape your valuable DNA. Again, kind of creepy way of saying that. But the murdered body is found by the police, or when the murdered body is found by the police, they will search her fingernails, in which your DNA will be used to finally catch you. However, if you follow these simple rules, then such problems will not occur.
Oh, that guy's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Somehow he's creepier than the dude who wrote the song about rape and murder.
Yeah.
So this song definitely is a goof.
Yeah. We also get our second Saddam Hussein reference. There's also a reference to the great Adam Sandler character Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy. So
all relevant figures in modern history. Yeah, I hate this song. It's among my least favorite. It's fucking stupid. You want to move on?
Yeah.
Track 13, Nowhere Fast, featuring Kehlani. May I start with the opening to the song?
Please do.
Ash is burning in the air. We on fire, but I don't care. Now again, did he write that and sing it to
cannot
Kehlani?
imagine he did.
But he might have.
I hope he did. Yeah. I can tell you what he definitely did write. Bitch, fuck you. I'm better than I ever was. Nope.
Yeah. Said the super confident guy.
Said the guy who's secure in his testosterone levels.
This is, to be fair, this is when I technically began to worry about Shady's tea. Only because when I heard this song in particular, the music to this song... Let me read more lyrics. In particular, we're going nowhere on the ride of our lives.
Yeah.
This exclusively makes sense on the soundtrack to a Reese Witherspoon movie where she decides that she is worth it. She's not going to take guff from that boss anymore, and it's time for her to go and strike out on her own.
Yeah, it seemed like very much, there was that movie where the lady gets, Eat, Pray, Love. It's an Eat, Pray, Love sentiment.
Did you see Eat, Pray, Love?
I did not.
Sounds like you did.
I did see it. It's delightful. You should go see it, and then you should listen to this song. You will get it.
Who is in Eat, Pray, Love?
Erin Brockovich.
Oh.
What's her name?
Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts, I think.
I didn't think she was allowed in film anymore.
Oh.
She looks like an old horse.
Oh. Another loyal listener. We apologize, Erin Brockovich.
She used to be married to Lyle Lovett, I think, man.
Yeah, she was. See, that man is the ugliest person in the world, right?
He could see the horse in her.
Jesus Christ.
Tim, I'd like to turn the tables on you if I can for once. You like to often ask a certain segment that we started on the show a little while back. Does Lena Dunham approve of this song? Okay, so obviously, off the bat, Slim Shady, misogynist, homophobe, provocateur. Lena Dunham doesn't approve of these things.
Absolutely not.
She does not adhere to the standards that build up the toxic patriarchy.
No.
However, this song I found to be an inspirational beacon of light for femininity. So
we found a second one.
That Lena Dunham might approve, at least of this track.
I guarantee you she doesn't approve of Framed. But yeah, I can see her approving of Nowhere Fast. And you know what?
Wow.
If there's one song on here that Lena Dunham approves, I say we give it the label.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to cater to the sensitivities and avoid any sort of toxic masculinity or the patriarchy, please, I urge you, track 13, Nowhere Fast, featuring Kehlani. Lena Dunham approves. Track 14, Heat. Okay, Tim, right off the bat, I have to ask, what do you think of this song?
Do not care for it.
What do you know about this song?
It's very Boogie Nights inspired.
Very Boogie Nights inspired.
Yeah, there's the riff from it.
The whole song is it. He has remixed the Boogie Nights song. If no one knows what we're talking about, oh my god. It's one of the funniest scenes at the end of Boogie Nights, which is a slog to get through, but is a great, great movie. The title character, Dirk Diggler, is going to release an album, and he records this song that Eminem has completely remixed to become the backing track that he raps over, and then the chorus is Marky Mark harmonizing with, what's his face? John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
I have to admit it, Tim, I fucking love it. The first time I listened to it, in full disclosure, I got all the way through the song, and I was like, the shit was that? And then I couldn't figure out why I immediately knew the chorus the first time. And then it dawned on me that this is from that scene in Boogie Nights. I don't know what he raps about in it. I don't really care. I like the song. I like it. This song could be about fucking gerbils and watching Mary Poppins. I don't know. It's probably not. But I'm on board.
Yeah, okay, so I am not. Mostly because I think he's ruining something that I like. Because I did listen to what he's rapping over it, and it is not good.
I think... here's the other reason I enjoy it. I made the personal decision, and you feel free to use this if you want to. This track is exclusively developed to make fun of Kid Rock.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
If that's true, and I didn't read that anywhere, it's a rumor, I might have started it. If that's the case, I'm 100% on board.
That's fair. The first thing I wrote down about this has a very Kid Rock feel to it.
Of course you did. So I choose to believe that he wanted to find a subtle way to mock Kid Rock. When we did our Kid Rock episode, he is featured on a single track. You can tell that he does not want to be there. And I think this is him getting back at Mr. Rock.
Can I read you some of the lyrics from this? Some of the Eminem
Sure, it'll be like I'd never heard him.
Grab you by the meow. Hope it's not a problem. In fact, about the only thing I agree with Donald is that. So when I put this palm on your cat, don't snap. It's supposed to get grabbed. Why do you think they call it a snatch? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I asked, does she want a computer lodged in her vagina? Said my dick is an apple. She said put it inside her. And then number 3 here, you got buns, I got Asperger's, which I only wrote down because I'm 90% sure that he stole that joke from South Park.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they're not great lyrics. I'm not gonna The part about the computer inside her, and then she thinks the dick's an apple, I flat just don't get it. I don't know. Yeah. I just keep focusing on feel. I implore you, if you don't know what we're talking about, just YouTube it. Or honestly, take a nice Sunday you're going to need all day, go watch Boogie Nights. That movie's fucking great. A lot of nudity in that film, Tim. I don't know if you caught that.
I did. I am aware of the nudity.
That brings us to track 15, Offended.
Try to hold me down, but you better let me up, 'cause you're only gonna make things worse. 'Cause I swear when I get up, I'm never gonna let up till
I want this chorus to die.
Okay, you're starting at the chorus, and that's fair. It's the most memorable part of the song. For me personally, the first almost 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes of this song, I'm into it. I'm into the raps, I'm into the beat, I like the lyrics. Then the first chorus hits, and it's a nursery rhyme. And it's obnoxious, but this is Bruce.
For reference, it's 'cause nobody likes me, everybody hates me, want me to go eat some worms.
Whatever. Then he goes back to raps. Kind of forgot about it, got super into it again. Super into it's a stretch. And then boom, they hit me again with that stupid fucking nursery rhyme chorus, and I was done.
I had almost the exact opposite. I hated it at first with the nursery rhyme, and I have to say, on a positive note, he ends the last verse of this with freakishly fast and good rhyming.
Absolutely. He goes fucking ape.
Yes, and I mean, he definitely still has the technical aspect down. Like, if only he had something to say, this could have been a great album. He is at least technically capable of making a good album. He needs somebody else to write it, apparently, but...
Sadly. Yeah, you're 100% right. He goes fucking apeshit at the end. It's really impressive. I also enjoy this song 200% more than almost any other song because it's just him. It's not like, Tim, it's not like Pink just suddenly pops up out of nowhere and starts singing.
I mean, that we can rest assured that's not going to happen, though.
Of course not. It's an Eminem album. Right. Sure, Beyonce, she's royalty. So if she's going to be in your album, you jump at the chance, even if it makes no fucking sense. It sounds horrible with the song you've chosen.
You know what?
That doesn't matter.
Throw some Cheech and Chong in there. That's fine.
Wait.
The point is, Pink's, of course, not going to make an appearance here. And then there's also the line, I'm so narcissistic, when I fart, I sniff it. Also might be stolen from South Park.
Yeah, that is a common phrase, though. I definitely have told people they like the smell of their own farts.
That's true.
For instance.
Yeah. They're delicious.
He also has a lyric like R. Kelly with a full bladder that made me actually laugh out loud.
I did laugh at that as well.
It's pretty funny. So yeah, in this song, there's brief moments where I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of get why I used to enjoy this. Let me just say this. Make it 2 minutes shorter. Not every fucking song on this album has to be over 4 minutes. How dare you, Bruce? Yeah. I have other things to do.
So number 16, Need Me, featuring none other than Pink.
Now, wait a minute, Tim. We just got done saying there's no way Pink could show up. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Does she just kind of sing a little bit in the background and that's it?
This is a song that Pink wrote and performed, and then Eminem stole, presumably, and just rapped over tiny bits of it.
Just a teensy bit. You want to hear the numbers? I crunched the numbers.
Go ahead.
This song is 4 minutes and 30 seconds. She sings for the first 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Then he begins his raps. No sooner than 3 minutes and 38 seconds, he stops his raps. And she begins singing again. He sings for 1 minute and 20 seconds on a 4.5 minute song. That's not your song. Nope. I sing more on this song. Should be on my album.
I mean, I like the backing drums at certain points of this.
I thought it sounded like a steel mill.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I like to ascribe where these songs belong, and to me, when I heard track 16, Need Me, specifically the pink parts, or, the entire song, I pictured a dinosaur traveling across the land with his wacky pals to be reunited with his family.
I would love that movie.
Of course you would.
I did love that movie. Yeah.
Land Before Time.
Among others.
Dinosaurs are a rich resource.
Yeah.
Of fuel and emotional growth. I learned how to love again from a brontosaurus, is what I'm saying.
Number 17, In Your Head. This song, I think, made me the angriest of any song on this album.
Yes. I'm sure I can guess why, but go ahead.
Because why the fuck is this entire song based around the goddamn Cranberries song Zombie? Not even based around. It is that song. That is the song.
It is that song. It's that song.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that I was hearing this. Like, I tried to figure out how and why that fits. I just couldn't. The best I could do is that both seem to be vaguely about some form of conflict, maybe. But I'd welcome any suggestion here for how and why. And
I'm baffled. This, for me, was the beginning of the end. 17, 18, and 19 on this album, there are no redeemable qualities for the rest of this album, except for the last 5 seconds. But we'll get there.
I disagree in part, but yeah.
For me, In Your Head, I couldn't get past the Cranberries of it all, man.
Yeah,
and let me first say I love the Cranberries.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Cranberries.
I love this song by the Cranberries. R.I.P. lead singer of the Cranberries. She is dead. She just died like 2 weeks ago. Like way too young. It's very obvious to me that on multiple songs on this album, he was listening to something else and just started rapping and using it as a metronome. And he was like, I can't do it without that song. We're going to have to get the rights. That's $11 million. I don't care.
Yeah, and he just needs a Garrett in his life. Just somebody that sits there and just like, that's a bad idea. Do not do that. And if you do it, don't ever let anyone hear it. Don't ever let anyone see it. Hide that.
Exactly. Like those series of paintings you created.
Yes. I keep them in my closet for my own viewing.
You should burn them. Jim Henson would be ashamed of what you have those puppets doing.
Anyway. There's nothing of value in Your Head.
Let's move it along. Track 18, Castle. This song, of course, is based off of one of your favorite shows, the hit Fox ABC show, I don't know, Castle, I assume?
Probably. So I have to say this. You said there's nothing redeeming about this.
Yes.
If taken out of this song, I don't hate the intro to this, sung by Liz Rodriguez.
After multiple songs about regret and moving forward, I didn't care anymore. The one quality that Eminem brings to rap that I could at least grab onto is dead.
That's fair. This does not belong on it. But if you take that out of this, I like those 6 lines.
Remind me, Tim, is this the song where he's writing to his child about his future?
No, that's the next one.
Okay.
This song ends with him ODing and falling over.
Yeah, which this is a small thing, but like, I don't like listening to people swallow stuff on the radio.
No. And then we get into the last song, number 19, Arose.
Nothing is more obnoxious to me than writing a fictitious letter from the past about your future self after the success being written about in that letter has already been achieved.
Yeah, it's obnoxious.
It's super obnoxious, and I understand it's supposed to be a choice for his narrative as a vehicle to tell the story. It doesn't work. Somebody get this guy a friend and boost that tea.
Yeah.
The two are unrelated, but I feel like a good friend would maybe mention it.
So again, most of this is a reference to his almost dying after ODing in 2007. And then it skips back to Castle. Lots of commenters cried because of this as well.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what about Eminem is making people cry. It doesn't make any sense. He raps in this song over Bette Midler's The Rose. Some Say Love, It Is a River song. Yep. And it's another in a very long line of poor choices that any reasonable producer would have cut out with or without his permission. This is
I feel like this
terrible.
is the perfect crescendo to an entire album based around trying to recapture things that he did previously, but failing to execute.
Yeah, and then it ends appropriately with a toilet flush, and we're done.
That's why I like the last 5 seconds. There isn't a better sound that I would put at the end of this album than a toilet flushing. You and I have talked about the music. We've talked about the man. Now let's talk about how this album did.
This debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, which was his 8th straight in a row to do this. And I believe he is the first person to have 8 consecutive chart entries at number 1.
That's
apparently
correct.
a record. It was also number 1 on the Dutch mega charts.
Oh, the Dutch mega charts,
That's
huh?
right.
You always check those Dutch mega charts?
I do, just to make sure.
Just behind Urin Yehermanen.
Yeah, want to get all of our ducks in a row. That's right. I think it's a bit too early to know exactly how this sold, though, because as we're recording this, it's been out for less than 2 months. So I don't know if you got any...
No, nothing cumulative. Just basically what you outlined. Did you happen to read how this album did against his overall success as an artist?
I did not.
Oh, I've got some interesting sales figures for you. He's the best-selling artist of the 2000s. Throughout his career, he has had 10 number 1 albums, with 47.4 million albums sold in the US, 155 million globally. He is among the world's best-selling artists. Rolling Stone ranked him 83rd on the list of the 100 greatest albums of not the 90s, not the 2000s, not the 2010s, ever, calling him the king of hip-hop. I had no fucking idea he was that successful.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason he's going to make a decent amount of money on this, or at least as much money as any artist can make on an album these days.
I think Eminem's going to be all right.
We've talked about what we think of it. Do you have some reviews, Tim? What did the world think of this album?
Well, we'll start with critics. Critics
Yeah, let's
do
start
not
with the
like
critics.
this album. The reviews are, at the very best, mixed. The AV Club gave it a D+, Consequence of Sound gave it an F.
I like that publication.
Most other reviewers were a little bit more middling. It was kind of a 2 to 3 out of 5 stars kind of thing. We don't, unfortunately, yet have a Robert Christgau review,
That's a
so we
shame.
can't play that game. Amazon, there were 367 reviews. 53% were 5-star reviews. That's surprising. 26% were 1 star. That seems low to me, but whatever. And I read every one of those reviews, Garrett. I read
Oh my
every
God.
single, all 367 reviews. This is how I spent
Jesus.
my day. I wrote down or copied down probably 20 of them that I thought were
That's too
hilarious. It is too many. I trimmed that down to a single one that I will read here.
One.
Yes, because it is far and above the best
Now,
of them.
I want to be clear. I have not heard this review. You read over 300 reviews. You arrived at one summarizing the entire experience for you. I do not want you
Absolutely.
to say beforehand whether it is a 1 or a 5-star.
This review is by U.S. Navy Vet 2002. This album in a nutshell. Okay, this is my interpretation of the review. I have to say that. I don't actually know how it sounded in this guy's head. All right, step back, the real Slim Shady about to stand up, crack a bad joke like a dad wearing jorts and a tank top, dissing Trump like a college kid wearing a pink cap, fapping a My Little Pony, but friendship ain't magic, sipping coffee from an I'm with her cup while wearing makeup. Damn right, M's got his forehead in his hands on the album cover. Mirror, mirror, how many more tracks will make his fans suffer? Put on his lawsuit and sue himself for libel. Only way to make money off this album called Revival. Boom.
Oh my God.
1 out of 5 stars from U.S. Navy Vet 2002, who apparently has written his review in the style of the album. So
Should
good
we
for
have done
him.
that? Should we have been rapping this whole podcast?
Apparently. Also, I have to say, I might have a bright future as a rapist.
I think so.
So what I'm
We're
going
going
to
to need to call Pink.
yeah, we should. But first, I think I should go test the waters by going out and committing a rap.
Yeah, go to your local rap house, find fellow rapists and see if they'll allow you to sit in on a rap session.
Yes. So,
Oh, Tim, I don't want you to embarrass yourself. Remember, when you sit down, turn the seat backwards and turn your hat around.
well, yeah, I do want to make it clear to everyone that I'm rapping. So that is the best review out of 367 reviews.
That's amazing.
Thank you, U.S. Navy.
You did a great job.
2002.
You did a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Appreciate that.
I don't typically think you do good at stuff, but
That's fair.
you did a really
That's
great
fair.
job. I
Yeah.
appreciate the time and effort that you put into that. This is what makes this show worth it for me. God damn, Tim, that's just beautiful. Well, okay. We know what the critics think. Most of them don't really like it.
Yeah, we know what
the
US
most
Navy
important.
vet
Yeah,
2002 things.
we got a rare military perspective, which honestly, if they're more like that, I am on board with making that a running segment. This album does not really feel like it's for you or I. In your mind, who is this album for?
As best I can tell, the diehards, the completists, and the masochists. It's definitely not for casual fans, and it's certainly not a place to start if you're looking to get into the music of Bruce.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This might come out of left field, but I would say the other audience would be the Disney Corporation. I think there's a lot of opportunities if you just take out a few of the raps.
You're gonna have to
swears.
censor some stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, just brief censoring. You could. I'm telling you, I want to see that dinosaur pic.
I think that's a good idea. You could pretty much just sample out all of the non-Eminem parts and probably score a Disney movie with that.
All right, final thoughts on the album. Have you had any epiphanies?
I don't think so. I mean, it's...
No new revelations?
You've brought up a couple of things that make me dislike it more. I will say that.
All right, yeah, same here, sadly. As is often the case on this show, I think I dislike it even more getting somebody else's opinion on it. At the start of the show, you were a not sure, don't hate it, certainly don't like it. Has that moved for you?
It's so... I mean, I do think I hate this album. I do still think it is an interesting entry into his discography. I think it has a place there. And again, I think it's the third sad act of the movie that is Bruce. And I definitely agree with the rhymes of U.S. Navy vet 2002.
I would say that this is almost certainly analogous to Mick Jagger in the 80s.
Dancing in the streets.
Yeah, just fucking around with Bowie, playing grab ass. Only it's Pink and Alicia Keys. So I guess that's slightly better. Don't get me wrong, David Bowie's great, but if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Dancing in the Streets of David Bowie and Mick Jagger and have a bucket nearby because you're going to throw up everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm getting off topic. I agree. I do think I hate this album. I think that he's going to regret this album.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't even think that other rapists are going to make fun of him for this. I think they're just going to quietly ignore it.
They might, you know what? It might actually improve the state of rap. They might take this as a cautionary tale.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why you don't see a new hit album from Ice Cube. The moment he said, "There's snakes out there this big," or "Are we there yet?" Still, or now, or whatever, he lost all credibility. I want to make clear, I'm not saying Ice Cube has low T.
No, he has sky-high T.
Sky-high T. But, same basic effect. I'm going to move from I don't think I hate it with a few shining spots to I hate it for pretending to be a full album. It's the longest album we've done on this show and has the least to show for it. I think I would rather sit down and listen to Sublime. Having said that, I would listen to a new Eminem album if one of two things were true. One, somebody said, no, it's really good. Listen to it. Or two, somebody says, no, he sings on it.
He does the Beyonce parts?
Yeah, he does all the Beyonce, only the Beyonce parts. Other than that, I think this is kind of a pile of garbage. It's dad rap. Tim, this is dad rap.
Ooh.
It's got dad jokes.
Yeah, you know what?
This is dad rap.
I think that U.S. Navy vet wrote a more complete review in his few short lines, because crack a bad joke like a dad wearing jorts and a tank top.
He summed it up best. You're right. You're 100% right. Thank you for your service. And by that, of course, I mean writing that review.
All right. I think we're done with this garbage.
I've been Garrett Harvey.
I've been and continue to be Tim Richardson.
The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week. Now that we pass past, it's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.